short-term and long-term goals with their finances. And I'm going to talk about a concept today that maybe you've heard of, maybe you haven't heard of. But the main goal is to help people get to a better place where they are now, take fear of finances off the table. And the ways that we do that is we got to figure out what someone's goals are. If you want to accomplish something, you got to have a goal, you got to have a prize, you got to have a target. So with the target number, we can figure out how to get there. And today I want to talk about, why invest early, or, should you wait to invest? Should you say, oh, well, when I make so much a year, I'm going to invest, or when I get $20,000, I'll invest. I'm going to talk to you just briefly about what we call the rule of 72. Has anyone ever heard of the rule? All right, perfect. So you'll all be learning something here today. But the rule of 72, someone came up with that, and basically if you take your rate of return on your investment and you divide 72 divided by that number, it can give you an idea of how long it's going to take for your money to double. And this is something that could happen. And just a disclaimer, this is, in theory, in speaking, and this may not be the best of everyone's interest, but it's a good rule of thumb to help us think about that. So does anybody know what the perfect number is to double in 10 years? If you divide something by 72 divided by what is 10? Oh, y'all know it. It's 7.2. See, it's just that simple. Y'all had good lunch. But let's just assume you have a 7.2 return on your investment each year. In 10 years, that number would double. So if you had $5,000 in your investment, your 401k, and you didn't put anything else in it, in 10 years, at a 7.2 return, you'd have how much? $10,000, right? You'd get $10,000. So that doubles, 10,000, and in the next 10 years, you'd have 20,000. The next 10 years, you'd have 40,000. 10 more years, you'd have 80,000. That's, without adding anything, assuming 7.2% interest of return there. So why invest early? Well, you want your money to have as many. What's that?
Before you're dead.
Before you're dead. Before you're dead. You want to have more opportunities for your money to grow, to double. I feel like I made some good choices starting young, but I'm like, man, if I could have put some more money in, then it could do even more work for me. So if I start at age 20, I have more opportunity for it to double. If I start at age 30, then I've got more work to do to catch up. So the rule of 72 can give us a good idea of how to get there. Also, maybe you're 30 or 40 and you're like, oh no, I should have started earlier. Well, you can look at your goal. How do you want to live in retirement? What kind of a number do you need? What kind of investment? You got to think about Social Security kicking in. You got to think about your investment working for you. But another rough estimate, if you have $1 million, and you might get around $60,000 a year. $500,000, $30,000 a year that you could pull off of that and keep growing it. And the market, it's volatile, so this is in theory, but you could work back from your end goal. Hey, I want to have $500,000 in my retirement. So divide that by 2. 250,000. Divide that by 2. 125,000. Divide that by 2. 62,000. Divide that by 2. 31,000. Divide that by 2. 15,000. So you can kind of figure out, how many years you got to work, or maybe you're going to have to get to a higher number to reach your goal. But the point of being an advisor isn't just to say, hey, how much can you invest today? But what are your goals? What do you want to do in retirement? How do you want to live? And that's how you plan for your retirement. And then as things happen each year, you go back and you review that. Because it's not always going to be 7.2. If you were around in 2008, you would know that. And another neat fact, like 2008, if you lost 40% in your investment, and the next year you made 40% rate of return interest, you're not at the same number because you're making 40% off a lower number. So you actually got to make more than that. So that's why it's important to always go back and to review that. So this morning I just wanted to throw that out there if you've never thought about it. It's a good thing to know, and if you know some young people, share that with them. That's something I wish I would have known 10 years ago. I could have invested more, and don't always think, oh, I need to wait till I get to a certain point. It's never too early to start, because that will work for you over time. Time is your friend. So that is the rule of 72, and I think